Hello, happy Tuesday. This is Coach Rue with Lifeline with LearningLocal.com's best. Welcome to our Learning Local Challenge. Hello, hello. It is week 3 of our Learning Local Challenge. Where we bring our subject market educators and influencers to the table to just bring you real expertise in real time. Our topic today is week 3: how to find the best deal in real estate. So if you've never tuned in to what we're doing with the Learning Local Challenge, the Learning Local Challenge is a 6-week first-time investor, first-time buyer of real estate property. This is our challenge. This is our way to get you in touch with our subject matter experts, are also our subject market educators, also our influencers, who are typically our service providers facilitating deals and what's happening. So I'm going to bring in some of my amazing network here today to tell you a little bit more. But before I go on, I want to introduce who I am. My name is Coach Rue. I run LearningLocal.com, Learning Local Academy, and our objective is to train real estate professionals on how to be their best self on camera. In this day and age, if you're not live, you're not creating your brand. You're not engaging, or at least communicating with your potential clients in the way that I think they want to be communicated. And really, it's tough. So quickly want to go through the weeks that we kind of catch you up where we are now. Week 1, you help investors and buyers like yourself choose the investment strategy, because you can literally do anything you want in real estate investing. Week 2, we spent some time with some lenders that we have in our network about how to get financially approved and approved. Obviously, if you're not buying a property cash, which most people aren't, you likely have to get it financed. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of week 2. Week 3, where we are now, is just literally the how to find the best deal buying real estate. And as much as I would say that is like the key always, like that's the first step, finding a good deal, you also don't want to be financially prepared. Don't want to be not financially prepared. So that's why finances become the deal. But let's start by really just like bringing on our amazing wholesaler. And in fact, Martin, I love the fact that you're the one here talking to me about how to find the best deal, because we could probably take up a whole show.
Yeah, no, I love to talk about it. It's kind of like my favorite topic. Is people ask me, like, how do you even get your deals? How do you source them? What do you do to underwrite them? And that's kind of my favorite part of the job, is underwriting and getting people just the best deal.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's perfect. And I think if you've never worked with a wholesaler that you know and trust, this might sound a little unusual, but the reason Martin is here is because he's in the San Diego market like me. Eventually, at some point, you're going to be working nationwide as well, Martin, right? But we're starting here, and we're going to attack this San Diego market, and I'm excited to field some questions with you and really just let you shine.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Very excited.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Also, want to bring up someone that many of you may have already spoken to or heard from. If you haven't, you've been living under a rock, a real estate rock. And it's Mr. Chris Sastoliero from the 1031 Exchange Resources here. Chris, what's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Nice. Yeah, well, hey, listen, Chris, I'm excited. I know that people are looking for good deals that you talk to all the time. So excited to have you on board. Before we kind of dive into week 3, really want to let you know what the future has in store. So in case you're wondering what the future weeks are, once you find the deal, you most likely have to do some sort of value add, which will essentially look like doing some construction. So that's why we talk about construction in week 4. um, week 5 is now that you've literally done all the work, you got to make sure you protect your investment, close on the deal, and really just making sure that you have the right people when it comes to like getting that done. Insurance, escrow, title. Martin knows all of them. Martin's dealt with them. So Martin wouldn't be surprised if you weren't on that show either. And then obviously week 6, it's not the end, but it's like the end, at least for this go around. So let's just say you did everything you needed to do, from choosing the investment strategy, financing it, finding a great deal, doing a rehab or some sort of renovation, and protecting the deal, closing the deal. Now you're at week 6 and you want to do this all over again. Well, the guy that we have here is going to be heading up at that event or that live on Tuesday. Make sure you don't miss it, Chris, or else it'll be on your back. But anyhow, just kidding. You know that we want to hear from you. So, and again, the way that we're setting this up, guys, it's just not, we don't appear and exist just virtually. After these 6 weeks of live events where we're basically providing a lot of great information, we want to meet you all in public. So, Martin, Chris, I haven't asked you yet, but hey, man, are you going to be watching from the sidelines, or are you going to be getting fit? What's up? What do you think?
You know what? I'm going to be cheering you on, because running is, I messed up my knees back in the military, but if I can do a power walk to do that, I will do it, and support you in any way that I can.
Yeah, no, I got you. Well, hey, that's all I want to hear. As long as you'll be as long as you'll be at their event, because again, the hope is that we're, real estate professionals are out in their community. They're getting things done. You know what I mean? Not only are they, showing houses, but like they're just out there like doing stuff like this. So that's what we're hoping to create, the kind of experience we're hoping to create with our team people. So hey, we're gonna get right into the live. I'm excited to just get it rolling. But for anyone that has never been, really part of what we're, tuning in for here, so I really kind of want to get them straight as to why we're here. LEARNin Local Live is the first real estate podcast that you can interact with subject matter experts, subject market educators, and influencers like us in real time about what you might need. And we're really here to educate, empower, inspire anyone who's looking to buy and invest in real estate, because real estate, quite frankly, it is proven to be a path to wealth that can be replicated and should be replicated, right? So that's why we're here. And how we do it is we connect, collaborate, and create opportunities, connections with subject matter experts, subject market educators, and influencers like Martin, like Chris. And we come here today to do what we're doing today. So you guys, I promised you guys, you didn't have to do any prep. All you have to do is show up and be awesome. This is how it works. We're going to be doing our live Q&A. Obviously, people, we are going live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We're going to field questions from there, but we also have questions that came in through either a phone call or a text. I'll start with those, and as questions do come in, we're going to hammer those. Martin, Chris, you ready? You ready to make it happen?
Ready to make it happen, man. I'm excited.
All right, cool. And honestly, again, this just all depends on who's available, but these live recordings can be watched live as if you were watching it live. So feel free to rewatch these. So let's do this until someone comes in with a question. I'm just going to come in and post some questions that we got in from the live chat. Does that sound good, guys?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, perfect. So the name of the game is if you get questions and we don't necessarily know like where exactly they're heading with it, you have to assume what they might be assuming and then answer the question. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're not having, unfortunately, we just can't have conversations with anyone that might have texted back. So let's just start with this one. What type of investments is available for an investor? No, probably very, very, very basic connection, very basic question. Maybe it sounds like coming from a first timer. So Martin, let's do that. Let's just kind of, let's answer that question.
The
What do
mindset
you
of like a
investments
yeah.
available for an investor? Yeah.
So the first thing you would really look at is, because there's so many different types of opportunities, is what works best for you. So the first thing before you even start looking at your investment deals is going to be, what's your timeline? How much money and capital do you have? And kind of what are you trying to do in terms of risk? So if you're trying to go in quick and easy, I would recommend like a condo, a single family home, something, nothing development, nothing multifamily. If you have a little bit more time, you have a little bit more money, you have a lot more risk tolerance, something like a multifamily where you buy and hold it for a while. And if you're a very savvy investor, probably not the first time investor, but someone who's been doing a lot of deals, you can even get into the realm of development deals. And any type of big multifamily is like 40 plus units, that type of property. But for the most part, it really depends on what your plan is, and really get down your timeline, your capital, and your risk. That's the three things I would look at before even looking at any of the deals.
Awesome. Yeah, I would say someone who asked this question probably could have watched week 1 when we talked about the different strategies, but it's okay. I mean, we'll just kind of like meet people where they're at. So that's great. Now I think you really kind of like answered those questions. And more specifically, if you want to catch week 1 and like learn specifically about the investments and get the opinions of those people doing it, that's why we do it. Chris, can you maybe kind of just quickly answer this question for yourself, for the audience, and kind of just have you share your opinion? You're on mute, Chris.
What type of investments is available for an investor? That's the question.
Yeah, maybe you can kind of just sum up week 1, because I think that's kind of like we kind of hammered.
Well, yeah. So from a 1031 exchange perspective, when what Martin was saying is you start off with a condo or a single family residence, or maybe a duplex, something easy, from the very get-go. You can actually, as you get more experience and as you acquire more equity from that property, you can do a 1031 exchange. And then you can actually roll that into vacant land, if you like, so that you can get appreciation. You can buy multi-units, 4 or more units. You can buy a commercial property, industrial property. You can buy, a single tenant triple net lease. There's a lot of different things. And there's also what's called the Delaware Statutory Trust, where, when you're up in age in your 70s and 80s and you're tired of dealing with the tenants, toilets, and the trash, you can actually roll that into a portfolio of real estate where you just get a residual income on a monthly basis and you own real estate. So these are just some of the things that you can do with a 1031. Obviously, with a 1031 exchange, you're going to be deferring all those capital gains taxes so that you're not hit with that 30 to 40% in capital gains taxes.
Perfect. No, that's great. I know that you kind of have to work with that and kind of catch the viewer up. But my suggestion, guys, is just make sure you catch every week, so you guys get fully immersed into the conversation sequentially, right? So a lot of these things you kind of want to know sequentially. But you know what? I have another question that kind of came up that kind of is right down your alley, Chris, since you're kind of up there. You're up on stage already. Like, this person who's asking is just like, how do you find the best deal utilizing a 1031 exchange? So maybe you specifically want to utilize one, but you need to know how to find the best deal if you're going to utilize it.
Absolutely. So that's a very good question. So trying to find the best deal doing a 1031 exchange, it really depends on the type of 1031 exchange that you're doing. Traditionally, when you sell your relinquished property, right, you have, as soon as it closes escrow, you have 45 days to identify your upleg property. That's a lot of pressure to find a great deal, right? So instead of utilizing the traditional deferred exchange, you can actually utilize what's called a reverse exchange. The reverse exchange, for more seasoned investors who have a little bit more equity to play with, they can actually use the reverse exchange and purchase their property first. They find the right deal. They find the one with the best cap rate, the best rate of return. They can actually close on that property, okay? They found the deal, the one that check marks all their requirements, and then they can actually go ahead and sell the relinquished property, the property that they want to sell. So it guarantees them finding the best deal by buying their property first. So that's a reverse exchange.
100%. Yeah, no, I think that's great because, and it's great that you pointed that out because it's not, unless the laws change, right? That's just like evergreen material.
Yeah.
Right, Chris? Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. It's significantly more. It involves an attorney. Your traditional 1031 exchange starts out at $1,250, but if you want to really find the best deal, you know, who doesn't mind paying an extra $8,000 to find the deal that they really want with the numbers and the rate of return that they want. So $8,000, and it involves an attorney.
100%. 100%. Yeah, no. Thank you so much for getting through that. In fact, I want to bring up a question from live Q&A that kind of transitions from there, Chris. So appreciate you saying that. That question is being asked on YouTube. It's saying, what's the most effective way to find those deals? And I think those deals are very like the good deals, Martin. So can you kind of give us kind of, your best, answer to that?
For the basic deals like the SFRs, the condos, whatever, you can always do, and this is what most people do, is the trenches of the for sale by owner, I call them, where you basically just get into the weeds with all these sellers trying to list their property, no help from a realtor, no outside information, just whatever they think their estimate is. That's how most people are looking at them. The way I would recommend you do it, and the way most seasoned investors are doing it, is they have either a personal realtor or they have the connections and network to be able to do it for them. So the way I would recommend and the way we kind of do business at Oak Rock is we have a smaller pool of clients, of investors, but we have a very, very strong connection with them where we have the same 5 or 6 people we go to every time to sell a deal because we know that they're ready to move and they trust us and they value our opinion. With groups like us that underwrite it, and that's kind of like our focus is the underwriting specialty of the transaction, we're able to get you really, really detailed analytics, cap rate, whatever it is on why the deal works that other people are going to skip over. And then from there, you get those as kind of pocket listings. And then not being scared of looking for on and off market. Everyone wants the off market deal that's from Martin has something that's exclusive through him, or Ruben has one specifically through him. Those are the best because you have less eyes on them, but you also have less feedback on it. So if I was selling something off market, and I wasn't as experienced as a normal individual, I might be leaning on something I read online or my Zestimate or something where someone told me I can get $1 million for my property. So I'm going to be asking for $1 million versus if it hits the market, obviously you have a lot more competition, but they're getting berated with every little thing that's wrong with it, why it's losing value, and they're getting a lot more feedback. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there where you got to decide what's best for you. But the 3 main ways would be online for sale by owner, through a pocket listing, or through a realtor that you have a very good relationship with, or just through any source on or off market, the MLS or somebody you know.
100%. And honestly, I'd advocate if you're new and the first 2 don't sound like something that you really want to go deal with, do number 3 and call us and we'll hook you up with Martin. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? So in fact, you know what? I'm curious, Chris, because your answer is going to be a little bit different than Martin's. When you were out there investing and looking for great deals, I mean, what worked for you? And I know that might be an aged experience thing, but some things just work for forever, right? So what things worked for you that you did?
Yeah, well, I was looking for my deals, back in early 2000 before the market crash. It was back in the day, right, where there was just so many great opportunities. And, I mean, even if they were on the MLS and if the properties have stayed on the market for quite a long time, it's your ability to actually negotiate the price and terms with a lot of these sellers, which is now too, there's a lot of more properties that are on inventory. If you agree with me, Martin, right? There's a lot more properties that are available, and a lot of sellers are willing to negotiate their price and terms and, help the buyers buy down their rates and, pay for their repairs. But a lot of times, even when they are retail, it's still too expensive. I mean, right now we are in the most expensive, state in California, specifically San Diego. So who doesn't want a deal? And then getting those off-market deals, the properties that are on the MLS, they're still too expensive. The properties that are advertised because they're getting too many hits, and people just want to get great values for their property. So the pocket listings, the off-market deals, reaching reaching out to a person like Martin, who is in the know about what's going on with investors, is the best way to actually do that. So, I did find a deal back in the day, and a lot of deals. And I did have to resort to using a bird dog also to help me find a deal where you pay somebody to look for a deal for you. You pay him a commission, and then, I go ahead and purchase the property. So there's a lot of really creative ways of finding deals out there. You just have to look, and you have to align yourself with the right person.
100%. Amen. Amen. You guys are just on fire. So I really appreciate that. And, I think we're giving the people what they want, and I think we're just like literally like this is the great thing about live. I have one last question. Let's just go for 30 minutes, guys. Thank you so much for your time. You guys are awesome. But I think this is a really pertinent question that we just got in through Facebook. This question is, in today's market, and again, this will just kind of allow you guys to show your expertise because you guys are in the business doing it right now. In today's market, what do you think is the strongest investment, and where are you seeing the best opportunities? I'm gonna start with Martin and see what he has to say on this one.
Definitely. For as much as I advocate for on market, if you can get on off market multifamily or some sort of off market development that hasn't been touched or passed through the loop and been bid all the way up, I think those are the best right now, especially for long term. But the best investment strategy right now, I would say, if you're not primarily a flipper or developer, is to really diversify in what you're doing. Because if something were to go wrong with your projects and you're only holding condos, and all of a sudden there's like a new regulation where you have to live in the property longer, or something with an ADU happens, or all these new regulations, especially now with like everything super political, diversifying is probably the best investment strategy you can even do. That being said, my main focus right now, if I were to be investing, would be to search for those multifamily or any type of long-term buy and hold, especially near these college areas in San Diego. But me personally, because I live so close to it, I would be investing up in North County and the Carlsbads, the Oceansides. I don't like Escondido as much, but in those areas are seeing a lot of good movement right now. But the best and always the best transaction that everybody wants is the multifamily next to SDSU. Those are like the top.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's great. I think you went general and then you went very specific towards the end. I love that. Love that answer. Chris, why don't you take this one, and then we'll close up shop for this.
Absolutely. And I think because of the high price in real estate here in San Diego, and the cost of insurance and the cost of maintenance has gone up, many investors have to put significantly more down in order to even just break even on that property, whether it's a single family home or a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. And so I see more of the stronger investments where you're going to see more deals probably going towards the East County of San Diego, where there's a lot more deals that are available. It's the price points are a little less. Oceanside that you mentioned, down towards Escondido, all along, the 15 and east would be great opportunities with many investors who are in their late 60s, 70s, and 80s, who, like I said, are really tired of dealing with tenants and who just want a residual income coming in. A Delaware statutory trust is also one of the strongest investments. And let me tell you why. That $1 million that they have just made on that property, they can roll it into this investment, own a portfolio of real estate based on that $1 million gain, and then they get a residual income on a monthly basis. And they don't ever have to deal with tenants, toilets, trash, any of the turmoil of being a landlord. And they can stay in this investment for at least 5 to 7 years, see how it's going for them, see how it's helping them to get the freedom that they need, where they can live their life without ever having to deal with tenants. And then at the 5th or 7th year, they can reevaluate and find out if they still want to go back into traditional real estate, or if they're happy and they're satisfied and they want to roll it back into a DST. DSTs are the way to go for many of the baby boomers who just don't want to deal with the headaches of management ever. So that for me is one of the great deals. And then moving towards East County, North, Central, and South County eastward is probably where you're going to find a lot more deals.
100%. Let me just really quick, I want to answer this quickly in a very short, concise manner. I think in today's market, I think the strongest investment and best deal that wouldn't be speculative at all for any kind of investor is rental property potentially if you're in California, outside of California. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason why I say that is because the easiest loan to get from our lending company is first-time investor in rental property. You know what I mean? And you don't really even need any experience for that. You just have to have, an interest in being an investor. You know what I mean? And it's easy because if you've had a job or some sort of work where this is just like you can do this, you know what I mean? Like you qualify as someone to buy this property because the investment is a numbers based, investment. It's not anything speculative. It's just based off market rent. As long as the rents cover the cost of the investment, in this case, the loan that you might have to take out, then it works. And so I know that it's not a very specific answer, but I'll tell you right now, that's the strongest, probably safest, least speculative investment that you can make. Because quite frankly, you guys have no idea what's going to happen next week. Neither do I. You know what I mean? So, hey, I really appreciate all you guys just being super attentive. We're going to just quickly go through the events that we have, and then we're going to just end the show. Today we have an event tonight at 6:00 with our own Noemi Flores of the Central Region of San Diego. Money to buy your home. So hey, I'm supportive of that. Go Noemi. Thank you so much for offering this opportunity. Next is, again, if you're serious about meeting the team, Chris, Martin, no judgment if you're not going to be running, but we're going to get people out there in the community on March 15th to just be out there and meet us. So put that on your calendar. We'd love to meet you. And next time we have this go around of the LEARNin Local Challenge, we actually could be giving giveaways from the people who are literally really here to give you information given during that week that they might be on. So really looking forward to that. Last but not least, just want to remind you, we are here to connect, collaborate, and create. This would not be possible without Chris and Martin being here. So really just want to appreciate you guys for coming on. Just so you guys know, we plan all these opportunities for Chris and Martin on school. You can join us at join.learninlocal.com. If you've never been on live and you really want to create a brand that sticks out like Chris and Martin do, then join school. We'll teach you how to be in front of a camera. We'll coach you. We'll make you feel good. And really, we just want we just want to help share and what you can contribute to the success of real estate investors everywhere. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And again, hope to see you on next week's LEARNin Local Live Q&A. Consider 1 to 2 p.m. Tuesdays PST as your power hour. Anytime you need to connect with anyone like Chris, like Martin, please do. And since we have time, 30 seconds from each of you before we have to go. What do you think, Chris?
I think that's great, and I like your to your point about maybe moving your investments out of state. That's also a great opportunity because prices here are so high, and a lot of investors may want to look outside of the border and go into Phoenix, Texas, just Idaho, just around that area, so that they can get a higher rate of return. The thing is, obviously, do your due diligence. Make sure that there's development there, there's jobs there that help. Create that demand for those tenants renting your property. But lots of opportunities, and this is the best show to get all that information, real time, real news in real time, and real information that can help catapult your investment opportunities and get you to the next level of investing.
Awesome. Martin, thank you so much. I know that we probably could have taken this to a whole hour or 2 hours, but yeah, please last thoughts.
Yeah. So I would really say, especially with all the people I've met on this show, is really lean on your real estate experts. If somebody, or if you don't know the answer, don't be afraid to reach out and get the correct answer, because somebody will be willing to help you. And that's how you make the best deals. And if you're going to be going out of state, just remember, not everyone can invest in California. It's one of the hardest markets to even invest in, but most California investors are able to go elsewhere. So don't be afraid to diversify if you're not liking California too much, or you're kind of stuck in